Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the video review of Transformers Encore Fortress Maximus. This figure was originally released in 1987, and it has been many years since this guy has seen full production. Originally released for 100 USD in 1987 money, that is incredibly expensive. Here on the back of the box, we have this wonderful mosaic. The 1980s Transformers really needs these mosaics back. It was so cool as a kid to see this. And then the crazy transformation sequence here on the back of the box is a real nod to the original Transformer boxes. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Encore Transformers C.F.R. Fortress Maximus. This figure is 22 inches tall, as I said, and it is the largest, biggest, most uber Transformer to come out of the G1 series. The box itself is even bigger than this guy, and the original box can retail upwards over $1,000. Just the box. Now, I have not applied the stickers to this figure because, quite frankly, I don't want to. I'm not going to. But the sticker sheet is rather large. As you can see, the sticker sheet is over half the size of the figure. Not to mention the instruction manual. The instruction manual is also quite big, stretching out well over the height of the figure, and definitely wider. But, you know, this guy, he also comes with a bunch of accessories and a card, because it's Japan and every toy needs to come with a card. Fort Max also has this little area up here that you can fit figures in, obviously. So, for example, a Cyberverse figure can easily fit inside. Now, in Transformers Car Robots, the repaint of Fortress Maximus, aka Brave Maximus, the pilot actually was kind of digitized and placed into this area. It's also been referred to as a cell, along with the part over here. This has also been referred to as a cell for holding bad guys. It doesn't really work for me all that well, but I get the idea. I understand where they're going. Still cool to have a little compartment there. This can be opened up and flipped all the way open to be a little component area for a figure to sit in city mode. And it can also fold out to be another part of the city mode. In robot mode, this figure's primary accessories are this blaster, this giant gun, both of which easily fit into his fists. Though I have noticed on his right fist, he is already getting marred plastic, but that's just the way he came. Now, there were a bunch of QC issues with this figure when it was originally released in Japan, and Takara pulled him back. I mean, Takara had a recall for this guy. So, as you can see, he comes with guns. But he really doesn't need all those guns. Why? Because Fortress Maximus is a freaking gun magnet, or gun czar. He has guns in his shins, guns tucked away in his wrists, guns in his forearms, and last but not least, guns in his belly. So, you know, even if you manage to knock his normal guns off of him, he's still going to make you have a very bad day. For a size comparison, I pulled out my two other largest figures that are here at the house. The Supertrain Megazord and Cybertron Supreme Class Starscream. As you can see, Fortress Maximus is just a smidge taller than both of those. Like all the Super Sentai figures that I review, he does not have much in the way of posability. His arms rotate, he has bend at the elbow, and then flexibility at the wrist. That's about it for his posability in robot mode. You're not going to get much else. Fortress Maximus also comes with these little robot dudes. These are Gasket and Grommet, and they actually are perfectly capable of holding headmasters in their vehicle modes. Now, their vehicle modes are a little bit on the lazy side. These guys combine to form Cog. Simply slide the tank onto the other gun boat thing, gun truck, and then take the guns off and put them together to form Cog. He also has a little gun that he can equip in robot mode. Pew pew, pew pew pew! Besides the big guns, Fortress Maximus also comes with this little radar dish section, a gun for Cerebros, otherwise known as Fortress, a mini Master Sword for Cerebros, aka Fortress, and then the parts to make the one giant Master Sword. So these combine by sliding the blade into the other part of the blade, and then attaching the hilt to the bottom of the main blade, like that. And then we have a sword that's bigger than just about every other Transformer on the market right now. To give you an idea on just how big the sword is, here are, well, both Masterpiece Optimus Primes next to it. It towers over both of them. In fact, it's about 2 1/4 MP10 Primes. And with it equipped, Fortress Maximus is freaking awesome. I mean, how can you go wrong with a 22-inch robot toy with a 14-inch sword? No harm could come to you. Another size comparison that I'd like to give you is the Kabaya Fortress Maximus versus the real thing. Yeah, a little different. To start the transformation, we first need to remove his head, and the head comes off pretty easily. Going back on, though, not so much, because you actually need to wedge it in on an angle and then slowly push it down. If you just go straight down, you're going to have to use a little bit of extra force, but it pops off very easily. The head's transformation is exactly the same as you think it is. First, fold the face guard down, flip up the sides of the heads to form the robot legs, turn the figure around, fold the arms out, and flip out the hands. And that's it. Here we have Cerebros, otherwise known as Fortress. The head forms a figure that is roughly the size of a current-gen deluxe class figure. Here we have Beast Hunter Starscream next to him. As you can see, about the same size. Posability is all but nil, so all he can do is move his arms. So we're going to go ahead and equip him with a Master Sword and his gun. And those are all the accessories he gets. He gets a cool little sword that looks more like a giant feather and a gun. Still, I rather dig him. I think it's very cool that he gets those accessories. Now, if we want to, we can also accessorize him with the Kabaya Fortress Maximus sword. And that slides right in. So he's got double sword action. And since you're a fan of Transformers, you probably already know that Fortress Maximus is lovingly referred to as a double headmaster. So not only is Fortress Maximus himself a headmaster, Cerebros is a headmaster. And the only complaint I have with the robot mode right now is the fact that the head it takes a lot of force to plug into Cerebros. Just little spike here takes a lot of force to plug in. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the original Generation 1 Headmasters, you get tech specs in their chests, as you can see. He is super strong, super intelligent, and super speedy. I don't know how he's so fast considering he's a city. starting Cerebros' city transformation by popping the head off and then flipping the fists up. The one thing I did not show you in the initial transformation is the arms slide back along the shoulders, but then they slide forward again for the transformation. And then the only other thing we're going to do is fold the legs down. So his city mode is he's pretty much just bending over slightly. The first mode we're going to put Fort Max into is his spaceship or battle mode. To start, fold the fists so that they are either having the fist down or just having the fist pointing out and up. And then put them flush against the back panels on his arms. Then take the arms and rotate them completely up over his head. Now the only issue I have with these back panels, which are ramps in the city mode, is they don't really peg in all that well. As you can see, this one is drooping. Now this is a classic issue with the original Fort Max figure. If you really push them in, they might stay in, but after a little while they will pop out on their own. So continuing on, just fold up the arms like that. Then we reach around to these sections here, which are pegged into his back, and pop them off and flip them up to form a tower. And then pick the figure up and fold the feet forward, like that. And there. Last but not least, reach underneath and grab this ramp part and flip that up out of the way. And then put the figure down, and remember that you forgot one piece. The last piece we're going to do is the side piece, which this is actually a major change from the initial figure. This piece right here that folds out did not used to peg in. It used to just sit there floppily. It's now got a peg and stays in place. Huzzah! It stays in place in both ways too. In Battleship mode, you could place Spike up here in the command tower. Overall, this mode is huge and you need a ton of space to actually display it. Personally, I don't have enough room right now. You can also flip out the ramps if you want in this mode, and the ramp over there, I choose not to. That's just a personal preference. But overall, this thing is huge and currently still has bits of, foam on it because of the packaging. But you gotta admit, this is pretty impressive. You can also attach the guns to the sides of the tower. Like that. And last but not least, the feet. The feet have spaces so you can slide Fortress Maximus's little buddies into those spaces. So he can take everything with him. Again, the Kabaya figure is just a little bit smaller. Last but not least, we are going to form the city mode. First thing we're going to do is take the little radar dish that I was talking about, and there is a little port right here just behind the tower that this plugs into. So we'll put that in there. Then we will grab Spiky out of the canopy and put him off to the side. Next, we will take the figure, and this is going to be a little bit tough because he's so big. We are going to pull the leg out and rotate it like that. And then the whole leg is going to collapse up into the tower. Like that. So doing that again on this side, but being mindful of this extra piece over here. First thing we're going to do is fold the guns up and then take the leg, twist it. Oh, twisting it the wrong way. And yes, if you're wondering, these joints are very strong. And then collapsing the leg, folding up the foot, like that. Cerebros' form here is called his communications tower mode, and that can fit in right over here, and then you just drop him down and he snugs into place. Then the little cell part that I was talking about flips open, and then the side piece here flips around and pegs into place. This peg was not on the original mold. So that pegs into place, and then you could flip out this landing strip and flip down that little bit right there. Flip out the other ramp, flip out these front ramps. Excuse me, hands. And then reach up in front, reach up right here, and flip that down. And ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Fortress Maximus in city mode. For another good size comparison, here is Optimus Prime, specifically MP10 Prime, in size comparison with the city mode. This thing is just huge. It's bigger than Scorponok, not longer, but definitely bigger and more interesting. It's got a bunch of different little gimmicks that I'll show you now. The first gimmick are the ramps on either side of the figure, and the figures can easily be launched just by pulling the red ramps forward. Now, I'm not going to throw them forward because I don't want to break the dang things. Unfortunately, while the ramps themselves feel like nice, hard, durable plastic, these red pieces feel a little bit on the soft side. I'm not sure why. It is a little weird. Another cute little gimmick is the radar dish spins with the flip of this little gear here, or this little wheel. Whee! On the right side of the city mode, we have this little trap here, where you can store bad guys and whatnot. So just lift it up, or lift the gate down, push the primary gate down to form stairs. Then we've got a little cage section where you can hold bad guys. A nice little touch. And then on the other side, we've got this nice little storage section where you can have other different robots in most likely vehicle mode, or a butt ton of Micromasters. And finally, the last ramp gimmick. Now, on each side of his city mode, there's a little door here. And we will put one of our little tank buddies. Oh, he's a little bit too big. So, let's get someone here that would probably fit. I don't know, maybe like a Cyberverse figure. They're about the same size as a Micromaster, right? And I chose poorly. Breakdown's too big. So, let's go with Cliffjumper. Yeah, he fits with really no problem. So put him in there and close that up. Again, for comparison, here is the Kabaya next to the real thing. As you can see, just a little bit different again. Fortress Maximus is what is called a holy grail, meaning it is one of those figures that was very hard to get a hold of when you were a kid, and as you got older, it became one of your must-haves. I never had an original Fort Max. The only Maximus figure I ever owned was Brave Maximus from Car Robots. I am so glad that I got a hold of this guy. He is off the list now. I have this figure. I have no problems with this figure. There are a little bit of places where the plastic is a little bit cut weird from the runners that the pieces are pulled from, but other than that, the plastic is good. The joints are solid. Everything is almost perfect on this figure. I'm not going to put the stickers on because, quite frankly, I don't want to. I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to risk running any problems with this figure. I want this figure to last for decades. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. It has been one of the hardest for me to shoot simply because this thing is so big. If you can stomach the $350 price tag plus however other more it is for shipping, I would highly recommend getting a hold of this guy. I can only hope that Takara makes enough off of this guy to bring us some more of the City Bots and some more of the figures that we never got here in the US. Guys, hope you enjoyed this review. Like I said, if you can get it, I highly recommend him. And I will catch you next time.
Oh no, it's Godzilla!
Save us, Fortress Maximus!
Yes, my plan will go perfectly. No one will be the wiser. Yes?
One shall stand and one shall fall. Not the reaction I was expecting. Oh, make it stop. All right, guys, let's go. It is time to hit the town. Yay, woohoo, all right. Ow, 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 ow. Okay, start, guys, knock it off.